Okay, I think we're live. Um, this is my first time doing this from the new computer, so it's not perfect, but I think we're okay. How's it going, Lilith?
Well, Jeff, it is going well. How are you this weekend?
Warm.
Uh, same.
It
It is.
is. It's very warm here.
You're in Canada. I'm in
Yes.
California, Dev. You're the one to speak about warm. Nah, it's not a competition. Nah, it totally is.
What is actually the? Hold on. I'm gonna look it up. What's the weather like? Okay, it's 24 Celsius in Sacramento right now. What's the weather like where I live? It's 25. There's not much difference.
Really? How's that possible? You're in Canada.
It's still pretty warm here. It's still pretty warm here.
Lost by 1 degrees. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, it's warm here.
How's it
My
that
God.
hot up there? You're up all the way up north.
I don't exactly know the science by it, but it's usually this hot during the summer.
Now explain it to me like a science textbook.
I think it's because we only have like 2 months of summer, so we get this hot, but it doesn't stay this hot for very long. I know, for example, you won't really drop below the freezing point in California, but we do in the winter.
That's true. And then again, it's probably like this all year in California. It
Yeah.
is still way too hot.
Dev, please gently pet my head and call me a good boy. Thank you. I don't know about that, dude. I don't know about that. When is Gundam going to be on the show? We almost had It's a Gundam on once, but it just didn't work out. We'll figure it out again. He's still interested, and we're still interested. I'm sure he'll come on my channel at some point, in some capacity. It's just going to depend on, like, the story and the schedule, you know?
Yeah, I think what didn't happen was, or what caused it to not happen was scheduling
Mm-hmm.
the last time.
Yeah. Um, so we missed last week, and it was just due to the new computer. It was literally like I was literally setting it up on the day, and I was like, I can't get this set up in time, and it just didn't work out. Then after that, there was some IRL stuff, and it was just a shit show last week. But we're back. We're back, and actually, we're gonna talk about Mar-a-Lago today. But also, we could probably announce that we have in not next week, but probably the week after, we're gonna talk to another detransitioner. This is a different one. Um, what was her name again? Do you remember? I don't remember anymore. Both
There, her name is D-Trans Pride,
Detrans
and
Pride. Oh, that's not a real name, but I get the meaning. Yeah,
yeah, or on handle on Twitter, but
yeah.
still.
And because you wanted to talk to another one or
No,
support
I
Detrans,
didn't.
yeah.
I think you wanted to talk to another one, but I think this one seems like a cool one. So,
Well, you
and
pointed you pointed this one to
oh
me and
yeah,
said we should talk to this one.
oh I pointed that to you, and I think you said we should talk to this one. But hey, I don't really care either way.
Nope, we have to go back and check all the logs and hammer this out.
Fact checked it.
Fact checked. We're gonna debunk.
People.
We're gonna debunk it. But yeah,
Anyways, yes,
we are going to
that's
talk to another one. That's going to be an incoming sorry, an upcoming interview in the near future. That's probably what's going on. Hmm. Oh man, I got some coffee. Wait, it's like pretty early in the morning for you. 10 a.m.
uh-huh.
You have
It
coffee?
is. No, I do not. I have been completely off of caffeine for quite some time now.
Oh, really?
I
Why?
I just haven't been buying it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I used to just chug like energy drinks after energy drinks, but
Well,
it's not exactly good for me, so
no, it's not. That's pretty bad, actually. Here, hold on.
But Dev, if they're
Yes.
so bad for me, why are they so delicious? And why do they make my heart go the jumpy jump and give me the happy feels?
The happy feels. Let's we
Or
got we
the
got we got
energetic feels?
we got 20 pounds, 20 Great Britain pounds before the stream even started with no message. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much, mate.
Hold on. Dev talks to trans and detransers to evaluate if he should transition. I already know that I should not. I am not interested in any of that.
Yep.
Mm.
I'm not gonna egg Dev.
You're not gonna egg me? You're not gonna egg hatch? Oh god. Fuck. Okay, so oh, by the way, did you see my video yesterday, Lilith?
Oh, which one?
Yesterday's video.
I have not.
The one about vabbing?
I've been so busy.
Vabbing. You know what vabbing is?
What is vabbing?
Vabbing.
Explain vabbing to me.
Okay. Vabbing is when cis women, specifically, because trans women can't do this. It's when cis women, they will put their fingers in their vagina and then get vagina goop and then use it as perfume. So they'll put it behind their ears and they'll put it on their wrists and they'll put it on their necks. And the idea is that the natural pheromones, the natural human pheromones will attract men far better than any sort of perfume.
Why does it smell like cod?
Wait, this is why there's so many cat ladies. Because they're all attracting the cats.
Jokes aside.
No jokes.
No jokes aside.
Jokes aside. This is fucking disgusting.
This is hysterical.
It's so stupid. Oh my god.
I can't imagine it working all that well. First.
Well, some women are like swearing by it. They're like, I'm getting laid every weekend with this. And it's like, yeah, okay.
Hey, maybe some guys like it dank, you know?
No. Who the fuck? Hold on.
They like a dank, fishy woman.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Lilith, this is how I know that you've slowly changed over the years, because if I'd brought this up to you 4 years ago, you would have already been throwing up on camera.
I'm trying my best to stay composed because this is some information.
Is this new to you? New information?
This doesn't surprise me somehow because you've heard of what's her name? Gwyneth Paltrow, right?
Yes, I mentioned her in the video with the fucking candle.
Yes,
vagina smelling candle.
The pussy candle.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. hold on, babe. I'm gonna break out my Gwyneth Paltrow vaginal candle.
That'll set the
Truly
mood.
set the mood.
A Tricky Mario for $8 Australian asks, how come you've not been able to read every article in your weekly sips lately? I didn't do last week's weekly sip because I was doing hold on. Last week I had the computer and IRL problems. Week before that I was doing Kenobi, and then before that I've just been busy. But the weekly sip's returning. It's returning tomorrow. Everything's back to normal, full force. Doing the videos again, doing the streams again. Everything's fine now, guys. And in fact, tonight, generally what I do is I try to put out like SFO content during the day, and then I'll do gaming streams at night. Tonight, I'm gonna go back to the GameCube and play some Def Jam Vendetta, because that's a fucking game that existed back in the day.
Nice.
So I'm playing some of that.
Me on the other hand, I've been sucked into the worst game ever.
What's that?
No, I'm just joking. Grand Theft Auto Online again. I went back to it, and to my credit, I have not bought a single shark card.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yep.
Wait, are you going to be playing the new one, GTA 6, where they're taking out all of the problematic content and making the playable character a Latina woman?
You mean Latinx?
Latinx woman. Good. They're going to ruin it, man.
Yeah, they might. It feels
They're
like even in GTA Online. There's some edgy stuff like what is it, like the Princess Robot Bubblegum, like the anime parody and shit.
Yeah.
It was like
They're taking out.
there's some edgy jokes on GTA that still exists today. That I don't know. I feel like I hope they bring it to GTA 6. But
No, it's all going away. They already said
but
that.
I'm not hopeful.
Yeah, they already said straight up, like, we need to make GTA modern for an updated, globalized audience, which means just make it shit. Take out all the fun bits, because it's problematic. Take out all the edgy jokes. Take out all the things that could be racist or sexist. No more black characters dropping N-bombs. No more fucking hookers. It's all the fun stuff's gone.
Oh no. I hope that's.
Yeah, they did Saints
They
Row.
don't actually take all the fun. They did a. I know.
Yeah, Saints Row's fucked. God damn it. I hate millennials, and I'm one. I'm a millennial, and I hate them.
Look, I will reserve my judgment until it comes out. But I'll be honest, though, it doesn't sound very good from like
Yeah.
if they're already doing we're modernizing for like a new sensibilities of the modern age for
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah.
I can't. You already pulled the global audience thing, so
$5.
Maybe the protagonist will eat bug protein bars.
They'll be eating bugs. What the fuck?
And then they'll look at the camera and go, "Delicious, heals me up 100%."
Mm-hmm. What's going on, YouTube? You guys, can you guys see the stream well? Is there any kind of skips or buffering? Because YouTube's shitting itself currently. YouTube is not experiencing enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Yeah, but I have it streaming at a very high bit rate, and I have fiber optic internet. Can you guys see everything? Yeah, fuck it, I don't care. Unless the chat says that the stream's dead, I don't give a fuck. Susan wants to get into the tub with us.
I know this is unrelated to the show, but I just saw the cutest thing pop up on my timeline. You know Palace Cats, right?
Here, I'll pull the video up.
Yes, just pull the video up.
All right, guys, let's check it out.
A fluffy boy.
What's the music from, too? It sounds like it might be like Undertale or something. I don't know. Anyway. Let's see. Adherent to Lady Columbia, $5. Thank you. Looking at recent polls, for what it's worth, this has solidified the right behind Trump and energized the right. This is a political oof for the left. I think it's probably going to act as an equalizing force to the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Like, everyone was saying that Roe v. Wade would energize the left in time for the midterms, and it did. And now everyone's saying this will energize the right in time for the midterms. So it seems like both sides are getting energized as the election approaches by various things happening. 8 more Australian dollars from Tricky Mario. Thank you. GTA 5 and online is still really edgy despite the trans NPCs being taken out in the next-gen re-release. Wait, why are they taking out the trans NPCs? Is it because they were like stereotypes and people consider them offensive?
I think that's what they were. I've only played it on the PS4 version, so I've never actually encountered those NPCs.
Right,
so
right.
so I wouldn't know. But I feel like they probably shouldn't have taken that out. I feel like part of GTA is just like they make fun of everybody.
Yeah.
It's like that's what.
Mm-hmm.
But hey,
I agree. If the idea is everyone gets made fun of, then everyone should be made fun of. There should be stereotypes of everyone. You know, all races, all classes, all genders, doesn't matter. Everyone gets their turn. I think that's fair. You know.
what I'm afraid of what's gonna happen is this like every single medium is just gonna be like, oh, we're gonna make fun of the straight white Christian man, or is this like, okay, that okay, yeah, look at these dumb hicks. They're so stupid, right?
I think we're already there though
It
in a
gets
lot of
so
things.
old. It gets so stale.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I think
like
we're already there.
how many times can you just say, "Oh, Trump supporters dumb"? It's just okay.
I mean,
Funny punchline.
but then you need
But
to.
it's just like
Yeah,
I yeah.
yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Oh man. Okay, so
Capitalism bad and Trump supporters stupid. And it's just like, okay. Um what else you got?
Lilith's not sick. She just has a terminally plugged nose. It's been plugged for the last 4 years.
It's that and also people get me confused cuz with my voice like I am Asian. I'm raised in Taiwan, so that could also have like a reason as to why I sound the way I do.
Yeah.
But yes, I do have terminal allergies.
Got to move out of California. Go to a place where there's actually a real winter, and then you'll have at least like a few months where there's no plugged nose.
Yes, but then I have to wear like long sleeves and like like big winter clothes, and I don't like those personally.
Okay, so hold on a second. It's the Chineseness.
And plus, it's just I'm not. I've been raised in the tropics all my life. I
Weakness.
would not be okay with the code. I would lit. I would freeze to death, like the grasshopper in that story.
Mm. Liz Cheney can get a new job in Granny OnlyFans. Fuck. I didn't follow the Liz Cheney thing. I don't know what's going on there. Brett Werdersheim for $5. Thank you. Best cutscene I've seen in a video was the ejection of the Hangar Bay in Homeworld Cataclysm. I don't know what that is, but thank you for the donation. Silver Camaro for $2. Hey Lilith, are you gonna start vabbing now?
once, once I get a bio vagina, yes, that can self lubricate.
Man,
For the authentic experience, right?
in the video I
No, I'm
coined.
not. No, even if I actually have a real vagina, I would not. I would not be vapping my fish juice on me.
I coined something in my video called pabbing. And pabbing is when guys dig underneath their foreskin for their own perfume.
Wouldn't it be smegging?
Smegging? God, I fucking hate humanity. Okay, should we actually talk about what we're here to talk about?
Yeah,
We've
absolutely.
goofed around now for about 20 minutes. That's the norm, isn't it? We goof around for about 20
Oh,
minutes.
this time you're the one getting us on track, huh?
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay, let's see what we got. So we're talking about the Mar-a-Lago raid. And what basically happened, the TLDR, is the FBI shows up to Mar-a-Lago and everyone loses their minds. The left thinks this is the final nail in the coffin of Trump. The right thinks that this is suppression of the highest order, and it shows that the deep state is moving against the one true chance for freedom.
It's happening. Q predicted this, Dev.
Q?
I assume.
Okay.
I gotta play into it, but then if I play into too much, we'll get our account suspended because they're gonna think we're real Q people.
Tidge, hey now! Yeah, I get the joke.
That's the plan.
That's what Sitch always yells at the start of his show is "Hey now." Mm.
Hey now,
We
you're
need
an
like
all-star. Put your game on. Go, hey.
Okay, listen. When next time I'm on, or like you and I are on, Adam and Sitch, we're gonna have to sing that after he says "Hey now." We have to do it to ruin his show. Okay, so let me bring in what we got because firstly, there's this video that I know that you humorously linked to me that I think we'll just start with. Let's just listen. You know what this one is. It's one that Dylan Burns posted. Just real quick. Actually, wait, can I share this with you? I think I can. Even on the new computer, I can share it with you. Okay, if I say applications, you should be able to hear this. So let's.
Oh, right. There was also like a guy who shot up the FBI building and then
Yep. I got that.
didn't hurt anybody, but got killed in the process.
So literally just the
which
YouTube shooter, the same thing.
which is just okay.
Hold on, we'll cover him though in a
well,
bit. I have some stuff on him. We'll cover him later.
yeah.
Let's start with this though. Just
in my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information. In my administration.
So, Trump wants to enforce all the laws, all of them.
I'm sure.
You heard that, right? You could hear it on your end?
Yes, I can hear it.
Yeah. So, Meta for $10.
And this was in response to Hillary Clinton's emails.
Yeah. Back before, so let's see how this goes. From Metas for $10. Thoughts and prayers for the allergies, Lilith. I got a sweet deal on a used motorcycle yesterday, so I'm going to use the extra money to support the TubCast and my Phase Connect waifus. Thank you.
Aw, why thank you.
Appreciate it. Let's continue though.
Appreciate your thoughts and prayers and your money. Thank you, Meta.
This is from
/us.
So you guys know the Ampol Moment account on Twitter? Crazy ass moments in American politics. This is run by a friend of mine.
Oh, right. Yeah. That I know that account.
Yeah, she's actually quite a cool person. But this was from Donald Trump's his newsletter. If you sign up for it, he sends it to you in the emails. So here's the Donald Trump automated email. These are dark times for our nation, as my beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege, raided and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate. It is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by the radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024, especially based on recent polls, and who will likewise do anything to stop Republicans and conservatives in the upcoming midterm elections. Such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. Sadly, America has now become one of those countries, corrupt at a level not seen before. They even broke into my safe. What is the difference between this and Watergate, where operatives broke into the Democratic National Committee? Here, in reverse, Democrats broke into the home of the 45th President of the United States. So Trump's not taking this well.
Yes. Well, I don't think anybody would take getting their what is it? Does he live there?
It's one of his homes, yeah. He lives he lives there, and he also lives in Trump Tower in New York.
Fair enough. It's like lots of golfing done, I guess.
Yeah.
Until the FBI raided.
So was Trump streaming it? Well, apparently, Trump watched the raid using security cameras from New York. So he and his family watched what was happening. Let's see though. So I got this archive from the New York Times. Trump received a subpoena from the Justice Department ahead of the FBI's Mar-a-Lago search. So the FBI did raid without announcing it. They just showed up and did it. But he did get a subpoena that he only apparently half complied with. So, former President Donald J. Trump received a subpoena this spring in search of documents that federal investigators believed he had failed to turn over earlier in the year. when he returned boxes of material he had improperly taken with him upon moving out of the White House. The existence of the subpoena helps to flesh out the sequence of events that led to the search of Mr. Trump's Florida home on Monday by FBI agents seeking classified material they believe might still be there. Even after efforts by the National Archives and the Justice Department to ensure it had been returned. The subpoena suggests that the Justice Department had tried other methods to account for the material before taking the politically explosive step of getting a search warrant and sending FBI agents unannounced to Mar-a-Lago. So, Trump received a subpoena. He did not comply fully with the subpoena. Now, we don't know if that was, let's say, him like saying, fuck the government, fuck you, I'll do what I want. Or if it was him like just being ignorant. Or like he didn't really know because like his people were supposed to do it and they dropped the ball. Or he just didn't understand. Or he was being actively malicious. We don't know. But the point is that he did not comply with the subpoena, which is what led to this move.
Yes.
Yes.
And from what I can understand and what everybody has been saying over and over again is that it seems true. Like this has never happened to any other president before. And both sides are saying this. Both sides are saying this stuff. People from both sides.
Yes.
But
wait, hold on. Are you mocking my centrism here, Lilith?
No, I was more mocking I was more mocking the fine people on both sides comment.
I understand.
But,
Yeah, I'm joking around too.
Like a former president getting raided by the FBI at their I guess one of their homes. For,
yeah, seems to be the first time this has ever happened.
For secret documents.
All right,
and,
guys.
both sides
we
are
will.
saying this is unprecedented, and yes, it's true.
I'll just point out that from now on we'll read super chats in the break, but keep sending them. I appreciate the support. All right. So here's a few things that could be on the documents they're looking for. The Trump raid documents could reveal informants on the U.S. payroll. That's a big deal.
Oof.
So the FBI was seeking to retrieve top secret and compartmented documents dealing with intelligence sources and methods. So basically, documents with the potential to reveal U.S. intelligence sources, including human sources on the American government payroll. This greatly complicates any public discussion of the documents or any substantiation of Trump's potential violation of the law. So basically, if you have spies, or let's say turncoats from overseas who are fine with feeding the Americans intelligence, that's going to be in a document somewhere, and those documents are going to be protected. And so if Trump has those documents at Mar-a-Lago, that's a big fucking deal.
Yes. And aside from that, there was also like the alleged nuclear documents.
Well, yeah, I have that too.
That they mentioned.
Yep, that's also on the list. I have both of these queued up. But for this is basically just, spies, human intelligence, a list of people who are on the American payroll giving us not us, Well, I mean, Canada's on the on America's side. So yeah, giving the Western world information, giving the Western world information, intelligence from, let's say, countries that are opposed to the West. And so if you have a list like that, I mean, imagine what someone would pay for that, Imagine if you just kept that like on your desk at Mar-a-Lago or like in a fucking home safe. You know what I mean? It's man.
Anyways, this is where we keep all our spies.
Yeah.
This is where we keep our like valuable informants that would like horrible things would have happened to them if what they do was ever found out.
Yep. What else do we got here? Hold on. Right, we'll do this one next. And they also did look for nuclear documents. That's the other big one. Yeah, nuclear documents. Classified documents related to nuclear weapons were among the items FBI agents sought in a search of the former President Donald Trump's Florida residence on Monday. Experts in classified information say that the unusual search underscores deep concern among government officials about the types of information they thought could be located at Trump's Mar-a-Lago club and potentially falling in danger into their long hands. This one's a big deal. This one's a big deal. Like, if there's nuclear information and that's just hanging out at Trump's place, that's also pretty fucking bad.
Yeah. And by the way, we're like the emails were pretty bad too. But then like
The emails?
he talked. No, I mean the Hillary Clinton emails. We all remember how bad that was, right?
That was pretty fucking bad, yeah. Yeah.
That was pretty egregious and bad. Like but like, if these allegations are true, then oof. That's I don't know. Do you think it would be worse?
What was alleged to be in Hillary Clinton's emails? I forget the full story. I think it was stuff related to Benghazi, wasn't it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Along
spies might
with a
be
bunch of stuff. I think.
spies might be on
Like,
par, but nuclear weapons is worse. I think.
yeah.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Either way, they're both kind of egregious. Okay, the ultimate troll. All right, the ultimate like double cross, the ultimate reverse Uno card is if the FBI walks out of Mar-a-Lago with Hunter Biden's laptop, and they're like, "We are now pursuing charges against Joe Biden." Like, that's what this all was. It was actually like the ultimate twist. The ultimate twist is that they go after Biden.
I'd settle for them going after Hunter. I mean, going after Biden would be like a long shot. But like, if they went if they just went after Hunter, then that alone would be a big deal.
Well, did you see? What was it? Jimmy Dore who said that absolutely dumb fuck thing recently. I think it was Jimmy Dore.
Jimmy Dore says a lot of dumb shit.
I think it was Jimmy Dore. He said in an interview like 2 days ago, he was like, "Listen, if it turns out that Joe Biden is like in actuality, Joe Biden just completely corrupt, and all the Hunter Biden kickback from China shit was real, it was all true, it's still better that we rig an election to let Joe Biden win because Trump is worse." And I'm like, that's fucking insane,
Wait,
dude.
Was that really Jimmy Dore?
I think it was Jimmy Dore who said that. Yeah. Hold on, let me look it up.
Well, I thought it was Sam Harris.
Was it? Oh, it was Sam Harris. Sorry, right. Yeah, sorry. Wrong leftoid pundit. I don't know who the fuck is who over on that side of the situation. When it comes to like, Gen X people trying to use the internet, I don't remember who's who. But yeah, that was Sam Harris. Sorry, not Jimmy Dore, Sam Harris. And that's insane. Like, that's fucking nuts,
That is
isn't it?
insane.
Holy shit.
I feel like no matter what, like people, if they commit crimes, like illegal, horrific shit, they should be arrested.
Yeah, but Lilith, good consequences are more important than good procedures, right?
I don't subscribe to that.
But the ends justify the means. I'm just trolling.
The ends
Obviously
justify the memes.
The memes. Okay, so wait, can I actually bring up? Yeah, I can. I think I have it. Hold on. I think I have it here. Yeah, no, it was Jimmy Dore who tweeted about it, but it's Sam Harris who said it. Okay, let's watch this shit.
I mean, Hunter Biden, at that point, Hunter Biden literally could have had the corpses of children in his basement.
Jesus.
But would not have cared, right? It's like, there's nothing. First of all, it's Hunter Biden, right? It's not Joe Biden. But even if whatever scope of Joe Biden's corruption is, like if we could just go down that rabbit hole endlessly and understand that he's getting kickbacks from Hunter Biden's deals in Ukraine or wherever else, right? or China, it is infinitesimal compared
This
to
is
the
insane.
corruption we know Trump is involved in. It's like a firefly to the sun, right? I mean, like there's just
Look at them.
it doesn't
Look
even
at those
stack
guys.
up against
Like, what the
Trump
fuck?
University, right? Trump University as a story is worse than anything that could be in Hunter Biden's laptop, in my view, right? Now that doesn't answer the people who say it's still completely unfair
Because I've
to not
heard
have
some
looked at
pretty
the laptop in a
horrible
timely
alleged
way.
shit in the laptops.
Yeah, like there weren't there pictures of like Hunter Biden with underage like Thai women or something?
There was one with his niece, I think. Or,
Fuck, Jesus Christ!
like,
How the fuck can you sit here and say this?
I don't know it enough about the Hunter Biden laptop thing, but geez, even I was just like,
Yeah,
oof.
Yes,
No, that's him. That's not good.
let's keep watching.
Way and to have shut down the New York Post's Twitter account like that's just a conspiracy. That's a left-wing conspiracy to deny the presidency to Donald Trump. Absolutely, it was absolutely right, but I think it was warranted, right? And again, it's a coin toss as to whether or not
Sam, I'm sorry.
that particular piece.
I'm really sorry. I was the one that said we should move
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
but you've just
Go, yeah.
said something I really struggle
Go for
with
it.
there, which is
Oh my God.
The kids in the basement.
no, fuck the kids in the basement. I'm interested in democracy. You're saying you are content with a left-wing conspiracy to prevent somebody being democratically re-elected as president.
Well, no, I'm content. Well, but the thing is, it's just not left wing, right? So Liz Cheney is not left wing.
Oh God.
Liz Cheney is
You're
doing
content with a
everything in her power.
conspiracy to prevent somebody
No,
being
but
democratically
it's not.
elected.
But there's nothing conspiracy. It's not. It was a conspiracy out in the open. But it doesn't matter if it was. It doesn't matter what part's
Yeah,
conspiracy.
now he's backtracking.
What part's out in the open. I mean, I think it's like if people get together and talk about what should we do about this phenomenon. If it's like if there was an asteroid hurtling toward Earth, and we got in a room together with all of our friends and had a conversation about what we could do to deflect its course, right? Is that a conspiracy? Like some of
Jesus Christ, dude. I think he doesn't get the fucking point. The point is that if Trump legitimately won the election, he should have been given the presidency. That's the point. It's not good to deny your opponent's office just because you lose. Like, there's this idea, and I've seen it like really ramp up on the left since the Roe v. Wade thing, and the idea is something like, if our institution can't deliver a progressive victory, then our institution is broken. And it's like, well, hold on, what if your idea is simply lost for whatever reason it happens to be? It's like, no, the rules have to be set such that we always win. It's like, you can't. God, it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Like,
if you choose to play by a certain set of rules, then you lose. You can't fucking complain.
yeah. Well, I mean, like Trump lost, but like if there
yeah.
was like if there was like a conspiracy preventing him, and he this in the theoretical scenario he actually won, it would be bad to deny him the victory.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be bad to, cheat.
Yes.
No matter how bad the Orange Man is, democracy has to be democracy. It's just like they talk a big game about democracy, but then they're like going like, oh, it would be good if it was undermined because of just how bad Trump is.
Yeah.
No, that's not good at all.
God, man, I've seen people. Okay, you know what? I've seen people within the past like 3 months say this on both the left and the right. I've seen Vosh and other bread tubers say it on the left. I've now seen like Steven Crowder say it on the right. People are just like, democracy's over. We have to just fight for it now. And it's like, Jesus Christ, guys, can you calm the fuck down? You guys are gonna be sitting. You guys are gonna be sitting in the most comfortable areas of the country while everyone else fights, and you're out here saying that we should fight. Like, fuck you. Fuck all of you. You guys don't know what an actual war would bring. Christ.
I've seen like Republicans going like, "Oh no, we lost this. If we lose this election, we'll never have a Republican in office again." It's just like, then that's kind of a problem with your policy, isn't it?
Mm. And then I've also heard people.
There's people like, "Oh, we have to ensure we win no matter what."
Yeah.
No, then that's just fascism. And that's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. Man, I've heard.
there's
I've
no
heard.
longer in America at that point.
Fuck. God. It's funny because like, even though Biden is, he's kind of asleep at the wheel. He's like fucking 95 and half of his brain is gone just from old age. Despite that, he's he's not saying such insane shit like democracy is over. We must now fight. Time is up, and we're on the verge of plummeting into a deep dark abyss, and we now need to go out into the streets. Also, give me super chats. you know,
Yes,
fuck, I hate
rub
everyone right
hands
now.
together.
Okay, thanks for the supers, by the way, the actual supers. Thank you. We'll be reading them on the break. Let's continue though. So Trump's lawyer told back in June, the Department of Justice, that all classified materials at Mar-a-Lago had been returned. So Trump's saying, I'm innocent. Don't raid me.
There was also another statement where he was like, "Oh, there can't be classified documents in there because I declassified everything."
Yep. Well, I have a big, long declassified conversation to get into. Yes, and we'll talk about that. But Trump says that Trump signed a written statement in June. There were no classified documents in Mar-a-Lago. All right. So that's why this is what this is one of the ways in which they're currently saying, hey, like this was not a reasonable search. We already gave back all the classified documents. So that this is one of the angles of defense that Trump is using regarding him being raided at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, I think that if it was true, then there would
Well-
be more valid of an excuse than I declassified everything.
Well, meanwhile, the
Which
FBI.
I don't think the president could actually do that.
Well, the FBI said that they found dozens of classified documents in Mar-a-Lago. So, whoops! I guess they found some.
Well, hey, well,
Let's see. Investigators discovered classified documents in 2 areas: Trump's personal office above a ballroom, and in a storage room near the pool. Why were they near the pool? All right. Sources say there were boxes everywhere, with some containing top secret, sensitive, compartmented information. These are considered some of the highest level of classified documents. So this sounds like Trump. That he didn't do it purposefully. Literally, he just literally had the movers grab all of his shit, and there were documents mixed in, and he just dumped it at Mar-a-Lago when he had moved out of the White House. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And there's just boxes everywhere. Like that sounds something like bumbling and stupid that Trump would do, in my opinion.
yeah, I concur. When I first heard the story, there's a lot of people going, "Oh, this is a witch hunt. He would never do that." It's just like they planted the documents there, and that's something I can imagine the FBI doing. I could also, at the same time, imagine Trump just being an idiot.
Yeah, see, so people are saying like the FBI planted it, Trump's innocent. How he's like, no, that's a bit nuts. But also people are saying Trump is truly a real fascist. He's selling
I don't
this stuff
think it's
to
nuts. I think it's
hold on.
possible they could do that. But
Oh, yeah, they could, but I don't think they did. But also, on the other side, people
yeah.
are saying, Trump's he's a true fascist. He's finally shown his true colors. He's selling all this stuff to the Russians and the Chinese and the Saudis. And it's like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Trump's just dumb. Trump is just a dim bulb. He always was a dim bulb. Okay. You can go back on my channel and you can see me years ago say that Trump is kind of dumb. He's very charismatic. He can really work to a crowd, but he's not. He's too bumbling to really have any sort of like long-term scheme. That's not his style, you know.
he's not exactly a master supervillain.
But yeah, so they found classified documents in 2 areas.
Although one could say he is a very stable genius.
Classified nuclear weapons documents have been among the items. And that's right. Attorney General Merrick Garland spoke publicly for the first time Thursday about the FBI search of Trump's home, and although he did not reveal what the FBI was looking for, he did say he approved the search. I watched this video. It's not really worth watching. It's like 5 minutes where Merrick Garland comes out and says, yes, I approved the search. I can't tell you what we found. Goodbye. And it's like, all right, dude, that was not really worth it. So, they have found at least something there. Oh yeah, Biden's also a bumbler. That's true too.
Yes.
And of course we have supporters. Trump supporters are hanging out at Mar-a-Lago. You know, people are the media's there. The cops are there. Trump supporters are hanging out.
The meth addicts or
I
crack
don't want a
addicts.
communist in this country. No way. No.
Oh Jesus!
Awful. Hunter and Biden.
Hunter Biden. Hunter, the meth addicts or
I
crack
don't want a
addicts.
communist in this country.
Based Cuban saying she doesn't want communists in the U.S.
I disagree with her Trump supportism, but I agree with that.
But Lilith, didn't you vote for Trump? Dun dun dun. That was 2016, though,
Look.
wasn't it?
It was 2016.
Mm.
And it was a different time.
It was a different time. So, all of his supporters are hanging out outside Mar-a-Lago.
Hillary
Hillary was fucking awful. I still maintain.
Was the fucking
Yeah.
she was threatening to fucking start World War III.
I unironically, I still believe, despite everything that's happened.
We're gonna establish a fucking no-fly zone over Syria and
Fuck.
blow up any Russian planes.
So
Okay.
stupid. Man,
Yeah.
I will say that despite everything that's happened, I still think Trump was better than Hillary in 2016. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I only voted for him because, like, it was like
Don't walk it back now. Stand by
California.
your convictions, Lilith. Don't shirk
No,
at
it
the
was-
truth.
It was California.
Yeah, California would. Well, still.
Yeah, California. It doesn't really matter. It was more of a protest. Fuck Hillary vote.
Ow, shit.
It always was a pat.
I think I cut myself
But
on
yeah.
something. Hold on. No, I'm bleeding a little bit. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Okay. No, there was some, like, sharp edge on my table that I slashed my finger open on. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. But yeah. Lots of supporters at Mar-a-Lago. You got the Blacks for Trump guys. They're coming out. Everyone's this is what you'd expect, basically.
Yes, basically.
Dev, buy a new desk. No, not yet. Don't bleed in the tub. Oops.
Bye.
So here's the actual search warrant. Okay.
Let's go.
A federal judge unsealed the search warrant so that everyone knows what's going on, and that makes sense. It is kind of a high interest case. There is a large amount of legitimate public interest in this, so it makes sense to unseal it. Let's see. The United States gives notice. It's filing the following document. All right, the search warrant, property receipt, listing item seized. Okay, let's see here. You are commanded to execute this warrant on or before August 19th, daytime 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Okay, yep. Delayed notice authorized below. Yeah, this is all normal warrant stuff. Let's see. The premises to be searched is 1100 South Ocean Boulevard, Palm Beach, Florida. It's further described as a resort, club, and residence located near the intersection of Southern Boulevard and South Ocean Boulevard. It is a mansion with approximately 58 bedrooms, 33 bathrooms on a 17-acre estate. The locations to be searched include the 45 office, all storage rooms, and all other rooms or areas within the premises used or available to be used by the former president and his staff, and in which boxes or documents could be stored, including all structures or buildings on the estate. It does not include areas currently being occupied, rented, or used by third parties, like Mar-a-Lago members, and not otherwise used or available to be used by the former president and his staff, such as private guest suites. Okay. So, every place that Trump could personally live, but not every place that is available to be rented by other people, because Mar-a-Lago is also a club. Let's see. What's going to be seized? All physical documents and records constituting evidence, contraband, fruits of crime, or other items illegally possessed in violation of... There's 3 statutes there that are all related to presidential documents and secrecy. 793, 2071, and 1519. Including the following. Any physical documents with classification markings, along with any containers or boxes, including any other contents, in which such documents are located, as well as any other containers or boxes that are collectively stored or found together with the aforementioned documents and containers or boxes. Information...
So anything that's labeled top secret, do not take out of the White House.
With the big stamp.
Yeah.
Let's see. Information, including communications in any form, regarding the retrieval, storage, or transmission of national defense information or classified material. So this would be like if someone texted, "Hey, I got the documents," that phone would be taken. Stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Then any government or presidential records created between January 20th, 2017 and January 20th, 2021. This is the one that I think everyone's focusing on as being too broad, because that means any document that Trump could have ever created over the course of his entire presidency. That's quite broad. That's like going to his estate and, like, let's say that there's completely declassified normal documents from like 2017. They're taking those too. That like C here is probably the one that is the most objectionable of the group, because this is just everything. This just means everything that's related to Trump being president, which is a bit much. But then again, who knows? Maybe they find something important in there, but it seems on the face of it a bit much. D, any evidence of the knowing alteration, destruction, or concealment of any government and or presidential records, or of any documents with classification markings. So this is just evidence of anything being destroyed. Okay. Oh. You know, A and B seems reasonable. C seems like it's kind of like overreach to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I could definitely see A and B thing.
Sorry? I think you cut
I
out
could
there.
definitely see A and B being a case here.
Yeah.
Like, shoot.
What about C, though?
I'd still need evidence. Like, we need to see actually what was, like...
What was taken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said they'd taken stuff, but, like... I don't know if... I don't think, like, it was actually sold to people.
What do you mean?
Like, the classified documents being sold to people here.
Oh, like Trump selling it to the Saudis or whoever? Yeah, I don't think that happened.
Yeah.
I don't think that happened either. But I do think that, like, if they're casting this wide a net, they're just looking for anything they can. I think C is why a lot of people on the right are saying that this is just an attempt to get Trump to make sure that Trump can't run in 2024. Because if you are convicted under some of the more egregious top secret confidential laws, you can't hold office anymore. And so the right is saying they are trying to find something to pin Trump with so he can't run again. They want to destroy him. And they're using this part, C, as their reasoning as to why. And I can see the argument. It also could not be that. Like, the most negative interpretation is that that's what's going on. And it could be that. But it also could not be that, you know? We don't know.
Yeah.
And then here's the receipt for property. They found
Like,
four
it's a
documents,
pretty,
5
like...
boxes.
it's like a pretty like uncharitable way of interpreting things, but it's a possibility.
Yes.
Anything's a possibility.
Executive grant of President info. So they found documents, boxes, a grant of clemency for Roger Jason Stone, info on the President of France, more documents, various classified documents, presidential record, some photos, handwritten notes, boxes, just a list of all the things that they took. Boxes, documents. No real info in there, just a bunch of stuff. Whew. Okay. So here's the thing. A lot of the defense for Trump in this case is based on the fact that the president can declassify whatever they want, which is true. For not completely true, but it's mostly true. And also that the president that basically Trump had it at his private residence, therefore they were declassified. Well, one, that doesn't work. There's a process for declassifying, and if Trump just takes stuff and puts it at his house, that's not the process. Like you still have to get it formally declassified, right? So that's not an argument that Trump had it at his house. Now it's declassified. Secondly,
yeah, you can't just you also can't just announce something to be declassified and then for it to be you see our nuclear documents, our nuclear capabilities.
2 years after he left
I'm gonna
office.
declassify this. I'm gonna declassify this.
Mm-hmm. And there's also another.
Just, here you go, China.
So there's also a
or
second.
Anybody who's looking.
There is a second component of this, though, and it is that there are some things that the president cannot declassify at all. Period. Okay? So one thing that the president just can't declassify using presidential power are anything related to nuclear weapons. That's covered under the Atomic Energy Act of 1946. What happened, basically, was that due to America's deal with the United Kingdom and with Canada during the Second World War, ultimately it was decided that that America's atomic energy program, including its nuclear weapons, would be under the authority of the legislative branch, not the executive branch. It's the Congress that can decide whether or not a document related to nuclear weapons can be declassified. The president can't do that.
Yeah.
And that is the Congress through, what's the body called here? It's some kind of, where is it? Yeah. The United States Senate Special Committee on Atomic Energy. Is that it? Fuck, I just read this too. I read through this whole article before the stream and I already lost it. But basically, the idea is that the president does not have jurisdiction to declassify anything related to nuclear weapons. Can't do it. Someone in the chat says this is an outdated rule back when two countries knew how to make nukes. Well, guess what? It's still the law of the land. And so Trump can't do it. Legally, he cannot. And so if he did, in fact, take classified nuclear documents from the White House and kept them at Mar-a-Lago, he's guilty. That's just how it is.
There's also information about nuclear weapons that goes beyond how to make a nuke.
Yeah.
As well, like our capabilities, for example, where do we store them? How fast they could be, like all these sorts of information. Like,
oh, here it is. Right.
You're just not supposed to tell people.
Right. It's called the Atomic Energy Commission. That's controlled by the House and the Senate, not by the presidency, and they decide, not the president, if any document related to nuclear weapons can be declassified. The president can't do that, and so if the president takes nuclear documents out of the office after they've left the office, they're just guilty. That's just how it is. Secondly, because of the Intelligence Identities Protection Act, The president also cannot simply unilaterally declassify any documents related to the identities of spies or informants. Now, if you remember, these two things, spies and informants and nuclear weapons, are the two things that the FBI went looking for. So, informants on U.S. payroll and also FBI looking for nuclear documents. They went looking specifically for the two things that the president does not have any jurisdiction over. Which means that if the president had any of those documents, it's automatically a crime.
Yes.
Which is probably why they focused on
but
that.
Still a crime.
Yeah, it's probably why they focused on that and not like other things that could have been declassified or whatever. And, I mean, we don't know what they've seized, but if the FBI did find classified nuclear documents or classified documents related to spies and intelligence, that sounds like Trump's kind of fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I don't know how he's gonna get away from this one.
Yeah. And then they took his passport by mistake. Yeah, see, so if Trump had his passport accidentally taken, and it's not like them trying to keep him in the country, that's fishy, right? They should give him that back, obviously. I'm not saying that the FBI is perfect here. I'm not saying that they're not also doing underhanded things to try and, bring the case from the 90% mark over the finish line. I'm not saying that.
Absolutely. That's not what we're saying here at all.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that here are the things the FBI went looking for, and they completely line up with the things that Trump is not allowed to declassify as president. Well, this is not just speculation, because we know that no president can. They gave them back good. We know that presidents can't declassify these two types of documents, and we know that that's what they went looking for. So
yes, everything else was like more secondary.
Yeah, and then of course, as one final drop in the bucket, we have the fact that Scott Perry had his cell phone seized one day after the Mar-a-Lago raid. So they are going after like other people who have talked to Trump as well. And so,
do they think like there's classified documents on his phone? That's why they took it?
Or possibly discussions with people on Trump's end over them. Yeah, it's possible. So we'll have to see, The thing is, it's gonna suck if they can't come. Like let's say that they go in there and they actually find real nuclear weapons documents, okay? And then they can't reveal that that's what they found because like it's classified, right? You can't be like, listen, yeah, we found the codes for the nukes. We found like a detailed list of all the locations of the nukes. Here they are. Like they can't put that out. There's only so much that they can say about their investigation. Which sucks because that means that there's going to be some people who will always deny that the investigation was legitimate because they weren't privy to the information. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. The question is, did they have probable cause? If not, it's a Fourth Amendment violation. I think the probable cause is coming from this here, where Trump received a subpoena and then didn't fully cooperate with it. I think that's where the probable cause is going to come from. If the FBI did all the proper paperwork, if they dotted their I's and crossed their T's, they're going to be able to go in front of a judge and say, look, we filed this paperwork, we had this subpoena, we talked to Trump's team, we didn't get everything back, and we knew that he had some of it. So I don't think this is going to turn out well for Trump.
Yeah.
Wait, they just shouldn't have raided him then? Okay, if you have knowledge that the guy has stuff, and then you get a subpoena, and then he doesn't cooperate with it, what are you supposed to do? Like, okay, here, raiding him was politically explosive. This is going to be a shit show over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But it seems like it seems like it might have been justified.
I don't think like FBI goes around wanting to seem like, because no matter what happens, people are gonna say it like oh, this is a political attack. They're now a Democrat shill. They're now a Democrat arm. But
Yep.
I don't think I don't think like federal agencies want to establish a relation or want to establish themselves as that,
Mm.
like under any circumstances.
Swordman says,
So it's like,
if the goal was nuclear weapon documents, why would the warrant be so broad and non-specific? That's where I agree with you. That's where it seems like things might be a bit fishy. So this is where I'm like, maybe something is happening here. But that's the thing. We don't know yet. Is the point? You know what I mean?
yes.
Let's see what else we got here.
But you interrupted me, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
I think like it's possible it might be politically motivated.
Mhm.
I'm not ruling that out. I also think it's possible that they wouldn't be doing this unless they had a very good reason to.
Yes, that's what I think so too. I think if they just did this out of nowhere, then it's kind of crazy. But I think if they have it documented that they subpoenaed Trump and then he didn't reply, and yeah. I think. Wait, did they find Trump's Diet Coke button? That's funny. Fuck, that's funny. Okay, let's see. Here's what's really funny, in my opinion. Can I just pull it up here? We got the Espionage Act, all right? So there's 3 acts that the raid was founded on.
Does
go on.
Trump drinks a Diet Coke? I thought
Yeah.
he made a tweet saying, "Oh, I don't trust anybody who drinks Diet Coke," or I could be misremembering it.
No, he said I'll keep drinking that garbage.
Oh, it must have been somebody else who said, "I don't trust people who drink Diet Coke."
Mm-hmm. So what's really funny though is you heard about the button, right? Where during the presidency he had a button that he pressed, and then like a butler would come in and bring him Diet Coke whenever he wanted one.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, man, that was the thing.
I heard about the Gorilla Channel, which I don't know if it was true or not. There was like a book talking about like how Trump behaved while he was in a White House, and one of the thing that was famous about it was Trump would have a Gorilla Channel established on the White House, which it sounds a bit too far fetched to be true. It just sounds really funny to me. It just sounds funny to me.
Yeah. So, regarding
what happened to the Gorilla Channel?
That's probably gone. Regarding the Espionage Act, okay? So, right, 1917 Espionage Act. Okay. What happened is that there's like several acts that were invoked in legal justification for the raid.
Yes.
And I think the Espionage Act is the one that had the lesser sentence. All right. And usually, what happens is that there's a more extreme charge, and then people will plead down to a charge that is outlined in the Espionage Act. However, Trump in 2018 changed the punishment under the Espionage Act from a misdemeanor to a felony. So, if Trump's convicted under the Espionage Act, he will actually end up. He would
have prevented himself from running.
Yes, he did it to himself.
From his own policy changes.
This is why I can go back to Dylan Burns. Dylan Burns, just play this again from Dylan Burns.
In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information.
Womp.
Promises kept.
Of course, Rand Paul is now talking about the repeal of the Espionage Act because, of course, he called for the repeal. Let's see. The Espionage Act was abused from the beginning to jail dissenters of World War I. It is long past time to repeal this egregious affront to the First Amendment. Now, that's a fair point. Is that there's a lot of people who are charged under the Espionage Act and other acts that are similar simply for opposing various wars or military actions or whatever.
Yes, that's a historical fact.
Yes. That's where we get like Julian Assange and who was the other person? There was one person who transitioned after. What was her name? You know what I'm talking about? They leaked a CD full of stuff.
Chelsea Manning.
Yes, Chelsea Manning. Yes. So like there are people out there. Yeah, Manning. There are people out there who have been unfairly prosecuted under the Espionage Act. Obviously. At the same time, though, like you can't just have a society where if you're at war and then you have people who are leaking secrets to the enemy, that person, oh, we can't charge them because it's free speech. Like there's limits. I know. I know. I hate to be the one to say this, but like, you know, there are very few. In my opinion, there's almost no reasonable limit to free speech. But I think maybe stealing secrets and then giving them to the enemy of that your country's fighting against, that might be one of them. You know, that might be one of them.
Yeah. I can't believe you're such a fucking censorship proponent. Next, you're gonna tell me I can't just go to the theater and say fire.
You know what's funny about that example is you can actually do that.
Yeah, it's funny, but
Yeah.
like you, what's illegal though is causing the disruption afterwards, and like the stampede that could occur. So like the act of just saying fire, you still have free speech, but you don't have the free speech to cause a stampede through deception, I think was the thing. If I'm not misunderstanding.
Wait, Lilith. Do you want to have the free speech argument on the show? It's okay. No, guys, Lilith and I, we've been talking a whole bunch off the show about like various things, and one conversation we had are like, what are the decent limits of free speech? And like we were kind of going through all the various like ideas of, and personally, I think one of the reasonable limits of free speech is when you're leaking information to like an enemy power that is actively trying to destroy your country. That's probably a reasonable limit. Unless you're going to like defect, then get the fuck out, you know, take your information and get the fuck out and go live over there and never come back. But like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You can't be like, well, let me back in. It's like, no, fuck you. You fucked up on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Hold on. Oh, right. So there is some weirdness coming out of this investigation that can't fully be explained by just the normal course of events. Somebody in the chat said that the same FBI agents who conducted this raid were the same ones who were like planting other anti-Trump evidence in other times. I haven't seen that. I don't know if that's true. It could be true, but I have seen this. That the judge who has, hold on, let's get the fuck get out of
Yes,
here.
I actually linked that.
Yeah.
So don't ever suggest I am freaking
that you're a
Yes,
communist
but
ever again.
yeah, or that I'm a strict like lefty now because I think like,
Lilith the lefty.
I
That's
have
it.
some-
The L. Lilith's lefty L's. That's going to be like a new gimmick account posting all your lefty L's. Okay. From Politico.
So yes, I actually shared this one and
Yes.
and this was like it's worth pointing out. It doesn't mean it's like well we'll get
Let's read it. Let's read it. Don't poison the well right away. Let's see.
don't poison the well. We'll see.
Okay. The judge who approved FBI's Mar-a-Lago search represented clients linked to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes.
Oh my God. Bruce Reinhart worked as a federal prosecutor until January 1st, 2008, when a day later he became a defense attorney representing employees of Epstein. That's a big oof. The federal magistrate judge who signed off on the
Not
warrant that
Epstein
allowed...
people. I want to clarify. Not Epstein. The people
His
working
employees.
under it.
Yeah.
His employees.
Yeah.
There's a little distinction, but still
So-
worth noting.
The federal
Still
magistrate
bad.
judge...
Still I mean, still not a good look. Oof. Still pretty oof look.
The federal magistrate judge who signed off on the warrant that allowed federal agents to search former President Donald Trump's Florida residence once drew scrutiny for switching from his job as a federal prosecutor to working as a defense attorney on behalf of individuals connected to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The judge, known for his meticulous nature, is also well respected within the Palm Beach legal community and has once worked in the Justice Department's Public Integrity section. He has contributed to both Democrat and Republican candidates. Let's see. Trump lawyer Christina Bobb told Politico that the magistrate judge, Bruce Reinhart, signed off on the warrant and that agents removed about a dozen boxes of materials from the property. Bob was present at the time that the FBI conducted the search of Mar-a-Lago. So Bob is Trump's lawyer. So Christina Bobb watched the search go down. Reinhart's decision to grant the FBI's warrant request to search Trump's resort has sparked a firestorm among Republicans, who have decried what they called the weaponization of the Department of Justice. But one local prosecutor described Reinhart, who has been a magistrate since 2018, as well-respected. He's married to Circuit Judge Carolyn Bell, a former federal prosecutor who was appointed to the bench by then-Governor Rick Scott, a Republican who's now senator. Okay, so this is a guy who is known for not making snap judgments, and he is known for being meticulous, and he has a long career being involved in the legal system. But he also did help out the employees of Epstein. So oof, that's kind of an oof, but nonetheless.
Yeah. Like I said, not a good look.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean like the whole investigation is like there's no merit to it because like I said, like he's just the guy who signed off on it. Like the FBI so pursued it but well.
Yep. It's a
Oh, I wonder if representing Epstein's employees is gonna bite me in the ass someday.
So here are the people connected to Epstein that he represented. He represented Epstein's pilots, his scheduler, and a woman who had been described by some as one of Epstein's sex slaves. But even though he represented the sex slave, she apparently was on his side. So, all right. That's an oof.
That is an oof.
Hentai is real, all right.
I wouldn't say hentai is real. Like Stockholm syndrome is real.
Yeah, but you know how in all those hentais there's like the ugly bastard who transforms women into sex slaves that are willing eventually. That's just Epstein Island, but in real life. That's what that shit is.
So.
Hold on, Lilith. Lilith, you're a fucking coomer. Don't tell me you haven't watched any of that shit.
I haven't watched like Epstein's sex slave turning into Heart Eyes Akel.
Listen,
I don't know what sort of hentai you've been watching.
Man, so that's got to that's gonna at some point some hentai studio's got to make that, right? Like an Epstein show. That's got to happen. Japan doesn't give a fuck. They're gonna do that.
No.
Okay. Hold on. Let's see what we got here.
My trip to the island.
My trip to the island.
A little girl on a plane.
A lolly. Fuck.
A fucking little girl looking out at the plane, and it's just the Epstein temple.
And then like it swipes up to the sky, and like the J-pop starts for the opening. God, this is so stupid. Okay, hold on. Let's continue. Lolita Express, the anime. All right. We have the FBI attack. That's right. So there was a man who fired a nail gun at an FBI building, and he called for violence on Truth Social in the days after the Mar-a-Lago search. All right. So there's this dude named Ricky Schiffer. It's quite the name. He he died in a confrontation with police after he fired a nail gun at a Cincinnati FBI building. And he posted online about his desire to kill FBI agents shortly after former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence was searched.
Yes.
Ooh, that's
Um,
wild.
He died for Orange Man.
Oh my God.
Imagine that, though.
Yeah. So he posted Ricky W. Schiffer Jr. on Truth Social. Well, I thought I had a way through bulletproof glass and I didn't. If you don't hear from me, it is true I tried attacking the FBI, and it'll mean either I was taken off the internet, the FBI got me, or they sent the regular cops. And he posted that at 9:29 a.m. and shortly after he died
So
to the cops.
he
Schiffer posted to Truth Social multiple times, and he said that he wanted to engage in violence. He called people to arm themselves and be ready for combat. We must not tolerate this one. And
so he was stopped by a piece of glass.
Fucking wild, man.
Pissed his whole life away.
And of course, he was also at the Capitol on January 6th. So,
Ah.
yeah. Man. What? This is fucking nutty, dude.
It reminds me of the case of there was I forgot if it was like in England or if it was in Canada, but there was these Islamist terrorists
Mhm.
that they rigged their car to explode and everything, and they were gonna drive it to an airport and blow up everybody. That was their plan. But
Yeah.
what they didn't account for was those little metal stoppy things in front of every airport,
That's right.
in front of every single building that people that they installed to prevent cars from driving into. So they drove their car into the metal things,
Fucking
and it burst
morons.
into flames.
Jesus. That's wild, man.
I think this was in England. This was
Mhm.
I kicked terrorist in the balls so hard I tore a tendon.
Yeah.
Guy.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Fuck. People are so stupid, man.
So they
When they do some of this shit.
crashed into the metal thing, explode, and it got kicked in the balls every time.
Okay, so now I have some memes, and we should go over the memes. Okay, let's see.
So
So firstly,
yeah,
we've got Donald Trump after the FBI finds the controller to his vibrator at Mar-a-Lago. I fucking thought this one was hilarious. Wow. Jesus. Man. I'm going to retweet that.
look,
Memes are great. Hmm?
when that's just what happens when unexpectedly turned to max.
Unexpectedly turned to max. Oh, fuck. All right. This one is fucking insane. Donald Trump being executed for treason on the White House lawn is the closure America needs to start the healing process. This is fucking delusional. Like, holy
So
shit,
what?
dude.
They would have to fly Trump all the way out to Washington D.C. just
And
to
then
shoot him in
execute,
the
yeah.
head. And then just to execute him.
And you think that this will actually, like, okay, if this actually happened, I think the Republicans would make a massive fucking comeback, or alternatively, they would actually start the Civil War. Like, this is insane. All right, let's execute this guy because
This is just some person's fucking
yeah, just some Twitter retard. Yeah, but still, like, it's
delusional
nuts.
fantasy.
Yeah, fucking wild. What's this one again? Oh yeah, Hassan's soy face. Fuck. Listen. I think Hassan is probably the stupidest political commentator on the internet right now. He is dumber than anyone on the right. He is dumber than anyone anywhere else.
Yeah.
He is. Like, I don't know if you ever like tried to listen to any of his takes.
I wouldn't say
There's-
he's like the dumbest. I've
No,
seen like
the
tankies
dumbest.
who spelled even stupider
Nope.
shit.
Nope. I have not seen a stupider tanky than Hassan. Hassan doesn't understand like the fucking alphabet. he is like, he's a pure retard. Okay, it doesn't matter what politics he takes up. In 5 years, he could be a right winger. Whatever, doesn't matter. He's like a sub 90 IQ fucking moron. This guy, he is so dumb. Oh my god, the amount of dumb shit that like. I'm no fan. I'm no fan of Steven Crowder, but I think Steven Crowder is smarter than Hassan. And don't worry, we have some Steven Crowder cringe to look at in a minute too. But I think Hassan is the dumbest person in the online politics space. I will stand by it. I will plant my flag on this hill, and I will stand here.
You know what? That's fair. I don't know if he is the dumbest personally, because I've seen a lot of people, but yeah, he's got to be up there personally.
Well, I mean,
especially his takes on Russia and Taiwan.
Oh fuck! I mean, he is known as a himbo, right? And the idea of a himbo is just like a bimbo, but it's a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just noticed this has been looping in the corner this whole time. This is just Hassan on Vosh's face. All right. Okay. Okay. What's this one? Oh yeah. Donald Trump posting on Truth Social. I just learned that agents went through the First Lady's closets and rummaged through her clothing and personal items. Surprisingly, left the area in a relative mess. Wow. So, on the one hand, you have like the QAnon shaman digging through AOC's shoes along with Baked Alaska during the January 6th raid and taking home AOC's shoes, okay? And then the duality of man. You have glowies in Mar-a-Lago stealing Melania's stuff. Either way, doesn't matter which side you choose, someone's going to be doing this stuff.
It's too bad they didn't have a podium to take home. Remember the podium?
Yeah, the podium guy, he's like walking out, like waving.
Waving. Hi, goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, Tidge, I am whatabouting this hard. Everyone is a weird fucking sniffer in the end of the day. All right. Oh God, have you seen this? Here's why Trump pleading the fifth is in itself self-incriminating. How fucking stupid do you have to be to post this? To make this your article? The self-incriminating nature of Trump pleading the fifth. So the fifth is the idea.
This is by definition not criminal.
Yeah, it's not incriminating though. That's the point.
Yeah, it's not incriminating.
But she's saying if you plead the fifth, it's like fuck you. You're so stupid.
Yeah. No, is this like okay, does that mean nobody gets to plead the fifth? Is this
no,
like,
just Trump because Orange Man bad.
Or just Trump because yeah, Orange. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. The Fifth Amendment allows you, me, and Trump to refuse to answer questions if there is a genuine risk that we could face criminal prosecution based on what we say. But
it's literally in the Constitution. You don't have to self-incriminate.
Mm-hmm. But, and this is a big one, the Fifth Amendment does not protect us from a jury in a federal civil case judging us for staying silent. Fuck, you're so stupid. Oh, God. The jury could be allowed to consider whether Trump asserted his right against self-incrimination because he has something to hide. No! The whole point is to avoid the something to hide mentality. No, everyone can plead the fifth in the United States.
That is extremely fucked up mentality. Oh,
yes.
Nothing. If you have nothing to hide, then you should have nothing to fear.
Yeah, like here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what side you follow. It doesn't matter if you're like the most hardcore Nazi or the most hardcore communist. It doesn't matter if you're a legitimate fucking child groomer or if if you're a fucking TERF. It doesn't matter what. Like, pick any side of any issue.
You're a
You can
serial
you
killer.
can you can always plead the fifth, and you should be able to. Fuck, these people make me so fucking angry. This is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean when I say
No,
that these
this is
people.
like this is just authoritarian on the other side. This is just like creeping authoritarianism. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you plead the fifth? Well, what do you have to stay silent about, huh? Huh?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
why won't you talk to the cops, huh? What they're so nice to you. Why aren't you talking to the cops? You should
Exactly.
talk to the
Like,
cops. It's just like, okay, no. Fuck off.
fuck. Like, it's, man. I mentioned earlier in the stream. That there's this idea that if institutions do not produce the required result, it's not that your ideas were wrong, it's that the institution is flawed or corrupt or something like that. And that's something that the left loves to hammer on right now. And that's why they're doing this. That's why you get people who are, let's say, very broadly left-leaning. Not like hardcore in a sense, but they're generally left-leaning. They go on about attacking things that impede them from getting the result that they want. So that they'll attack the First Amendment, they'll attack the Second Amendment, they'll attack the Fifth Amendment. They don't give a fuck. They'll attack the courts. They'll attack whatever institution is set up. Unless it works in their favor, then they won't. And it's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Although, to be fair, the right's doing similar to with the FBI.
That's true.
Like,
Here's the thing. The right didn't used to do this. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, the right didn't do this nearly as much. I think they're doing it now because the left has said, we're not going to stop. Fuck you. We don't care. We don't care about your appeals to a neutral space. We don't care about your appeal to civility. Civility is just the white man's politics. Shit like that. And it's like, well, fuck. If this is the game we got to play, I guess we got to play it, or else we're going to lose. Fuck, I hate this.
I don't know who started it though. To say the left started it would be like a massive would be massively reductive.
Well, here's the thing. If the right stopped it, would the left stop? No, I don't think so. But
I don't think it's right when anybody does it.
Well, no, but hear me. If the right stopped doing it, the left wouldn't stop. If the left stopped doing it, I think at least the mainstream right would stop. That's the difference, I think. Is that I think only one side is willing to stop doing this sort of like change the rules so that we win playing like style of playing the game. I think only one side's willing to actually stop that if the other side stopped too.
Yeah, but like Trump also packed the Supreme Court with with justices that, well, as you see, repealed the Roe when most of the country, even conservatives, are against that.
Well, here's the thing. He didn't pack the Supreme Court. He had the legal authority to put in 3 more justices. He didn't say, I'm going to expand the court and add 5 more. He didn't do that. He could have, but he didn't. He did.
No, I didn't say he expanded the Supreme Court, but he did pack it with justices.
Hold on, that's what packed means. That's what packed means. Packed means expanding the court to overwhelm your opponents.
I make the distinction, but I don't know.
Let me just look it up. Like when AOC says,
if I'm wrong on this, I'm wrong on this. If packing just means expanding the court, then I misunderstood what the word meant.
Yeah, that's what it means. It was coined in 1936 when President Roosevelt wanted to do that.
All right, my mistake then.
Yeah, so like when AOC says pack the court,
when he filled the Supreme Court with
filled. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because when AOC says pack the court, she means expand it. Yeah.
That would have been a more right word.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, it's completely reasonable for Trump to put right-leaning justices in empty Supreme Court positions for the same reason that it's reasonable for, Obama to put, or Clinton or whoever to put left-leaning justices in the Supreme Court. It's reasonable on either side. It's what you would expect to happen, right?
Yes, but they also don't really have like a limit on like federal courts justices that they can assign, and but then again, both sides do this, where
Yes.
when they come in, they fill a system with a bunch of people who agree with them as much as possible. I really, but I don't think it's a thing that the left started, where it's exclusive to them, or the right would stop if the left stopped. I
True.
just don't think
That's
it's right
true.
when, yeah.
That's true. But I do think the idea that we must change the system because the system isn't producing the result that we want, I think that is more of a leftist idea than a rightist idea. Because, filling vacancies with your picks, that's not changing the system. That's using the system in the way that it's currently designed. But changing the system, where we say, you know what, fuck the Senate or fuck the Supreme Court, we're going to implement something new because we lost this fight. That's when you change the system. And I think that's a fundamentally leftist idea, because conservatives, they generally want the system to stay exactly as it is, even with its flaws. They're conserving it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I think what's happening now is that as the right continues to radicalize, they're saying, you know what, fuck it, fuck conserving it. Fuck those cuck-servatives who don't want to actually, engage in our right-leaning revolution. We are going to also build institutions that we prefer, which is very dangerous when both sides are now doing this stuff. And this is the thing, like I'm not a priori against reforming a broken system. Sometimes you have to do that. But a system isn't broken just because it gives you a result that you don't like. It may
I
be...
would prefer to fix a broken system than to break it further and to personally. Yeah. I find that preferable to just, then let's fuck up ourselves too, even if this was... Yeah.
Let's see what else we have here. All right. This was pretty sus.
Sussy pussy.
FBI says they don't like the term raid. MSNBC and New York Times are seen changing their headlines. Yep. So it became a raid. It was raid at the time of publishing, and then it became search. Everyone watched the change happen in real time back when this was going down. Yeah.
Look,
so
the FBI self-identified it as a search.
So MSNBC's Frank Figluzzi said that FBI agents do not like the term raid. Moments later, MSNBC updates their lower third to say execute search warrant over raid. And then articles started changing as well. This is pretty sus. I'm not sure that news should be doing this sort of thing.
They both mean the same thing, I think. But
but
one sounds worse than the other.
That's what I mean, though. I'm not sure that news outlets should be doing this at the behest of the government. Make it sound better for us. It's like maybe the government should not be having this sort of a say in how the news is reported, I'm not sure if I agree with this. This seems pretty bad. What else do we got, though? Hold on. Right. Oh, yeah, here's the Crowder stuff. Crowder, tomorrow is war. Sleep well. That's a bit hyperbolic, isn't it? I'm not sure the war has started yet, dude. I don't think the Civil War has begun, but I'm sure that gets you a lot of clicks on your stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next president of the United States needs to prosecute everyone. Need a clean house. I don't know about that. I don't know about purging people who disagree with you. Yeah.
Okay, so his solution to political bias and our federal institution is just do way more of it.
Well, it's like I said, right?
On our side.
If 5 years ago, Steven Crowder wouldn't have said this, but now he is. And it's because, we had 5 years of the left saying, fuck institutions if they don't get me what I want. And now the right is saying, you know what? Fuck it. If we're not going to have an even ground where we can come together and say, you know what, we disagree, but here we can negotiate and we can be equals and we can come together and understand that we play for the same team despite our disagreements. If we can't have that neutral ground anymore, then fuck it. We should just exploit all power all the time. Just the exact same way that the left does when they can. And that's fucking dangerous. That's fucking dangerous. So that's why this is kind of insane. You get shit like dismantle the FBI, abolish the IRS, any Republican not on board in 2022 is out. It's like, well, okay. And then you get, it doesn't matter if they were appointed by Trump, they can still betray. These are people in government who value their job security over your freedom. However, it could also be the case that people who were appointed by any president, Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, whoever, these people don't have a duty to the president they were appointed by or the party that they lean towards. They have a duty to the United States itself, to the Constitution, and to its values. And if that means that your guy is bad in this case, that means opposing him is good. It doesn't matter if Trump appoints the person, if Trump ends up being wrong. It's not about betraying Trump. Who gives a fuck about betraying Trump? Who cares about betraying Trump? Fuck Trump in that case. All right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying fuck Trump in all cases, but what I'm saying is the Constitution and the
why
values
is there
are more
loyalty?
important.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Constitution.
If he's doing something bad, then why stay loyal to...
Yeah, exactly. The Constitution and the values of the United States are more important than Trump. Okay? They're more important than Trump. So if Trump's violating those values, then we should betray Trump because he's already betrayed the people.
Well, it's not really betrayal. It's more like holding him account. If what's like alleged is true, and from like the documents that they seized, it might be. We'll see. We'll see if any criminal charges comes about from this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People are saying that abolishing the IRS and the FBI is based. Listen, there's obvious problems with both entities, but you can't, you know what? I'm never going to be on the side of the libertarians on the left or the right when they just want to a priori abolish the state. No. Or like parts of the state. No. I'm not a libertarian. All right. I am a liberal. I've always said I was a liberal. You know,
But,
I oppose the more extreme parts of libertarianism. And I absolutely oppose the more extreme parts of progressivism. So, no, I'm not on board with that. Sorry, you glitched out there. Lilith.
Are you sure? Are you sure, Dev? Are you sure there's still redundancies we can take out? Redundancies say the ATF.
What's the ATF again?
Alcohol Tobacco Agency.
Maybe, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. We should definitely reform them for sure, but no, like
abolish the ATF.
I don't know what the ATF really does, but who knows? But yeah, like I make
because
this.
you're not American.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah. But here's the thing, I'm not an ANCAP. I'm not an anarchist of any type. All right, I think the state is necessary, and I think that anybody who's like abolish is like fuck you, you're stupid. You're oh. God damn it. It's so dumb. Sorry. Can't agree with that.
Now, abolish the ATF and DEA and the drug war and fuck them.
Wait, hold on. What about ICE? What are we doing with ICE? Are you abolishing ICE?
I don't know if I'm quite on that, but like, we should definitely like stop with the sterilization shit.
I think that was stopped actually. I think like that's like the big story everyone talks about. That was years ago. I think that's done now. I will say though.
That shit was egregious.
Yeah, that was fucking wild. Yeah, you know, we should privatize ICE. All right, that's what we should do. Completely privatize ICE. Let anybody become an ICE member, and you know what you can do? You can go out there. Here's how we'll set it up. All right, you privatize ICE.
Oh, that won't get abused at all.
Hold on, you privatize ICE, you get your ICE license, and then any citizen who finds an illegal immigrant can get paid by the government. Just bring him in. How does that sound?
I don't think we should have like private fucking citizens. It feels a little bit too Gestapo-y to me.
So that is everything that I've got for the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid. Obviously, I'm joking, by the way. That is everything that I've got for the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid. I know there are some people in the chat who were kind of coping and seething a little bit earlier, and I was like, listen, guys, just if you have evidence that shows that this is all just bullshit and Trump's completely innocent and this is all just a scheme against him, show it to me. But no one ever came forward with any evidence.
Nobody provided links?
Nope. So they were just kind of getting mad, and that's okay. It's fine, chat. It's fine. I still forget you're still my little pog champs, even if I disagree with you. Let's see what super chats we have. Let's go over them. Let me just refresh this here.
Video games.
My chat's always coping and seething. That's okay, though. I don't mind. Here's the thing: if I have an entire chat that disagrees with me, it's not going to be fun, is it? You know. You can't prove a negative true, but you know what you also can't do is that if I have at least some evidence that what I'm saying is correct, you can't just go no with nothing. You need at least something.
I mean, if it turns out that all this is like a nothing burger and nothing comes out from it, it seems unlikely.
Yeah. No, I'll walk it back for sure. This sounds like guilty proven
But
evidence.
I would walk it back too. Like
yeah.
If
Same.
it's like if it turns out it was nothing, then fine.
The evidence was the entire stream. The fact that Trump got subpoenaed and then ignored the subpoena, and then they had to, and then they went through the proper channels with the judge, and they got the judge to sign off, and then they got the search warrant.
Yeah, even if the judge is sussy.
Yes.
With his defense of Dean's
the fact
slave and pilot.
Listen, it's not like this evidence or that this process wasn't followed just because you don't like what came out of it. That's literally taking up the left's position, is that I dislike the result of this institution, therefore the institution is wrong and corrupt and we need to change it, and it's all just and Trump's innocent and it's all just a scam. It's like no. All right? I will take the institutions that are filing these reports and working through these processes, and we have evidence of them working through these processes. I will take that over just some kind of innate belief that Trump is correct because he's the God Emperor. I'm not gonna no. So if the FBI says 1, 2, 3, then that's it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if multiple different agencies all come together and they're from different parts of the government that are generally like, hold on. You think that Florida's state government is currently like all buddy with the feds? Considering what else is happening in Florida right now, considering like DeSantis and Biden? No. But the fact that there are different judges from different circuits and different agencies, all from different levels of government, that are normally opposed to each other, coming together and saying, okay, we follow the procedure, this seems to be correct, we're going to go in and look for it. Yeah, this seems reasonable. This seems reasonable to me. So, yeah. I need something more than just Trump's the God Emperor and he's going to save Western civilization and we can't allow... No, I need something. Something! But I could not find anything. Let's read the super chats. Ickbard for $5.
I don't know why they expect to do like a God Emperor take. It's just like...
Yeah, I was never like here's the thing. I don't think that Trump's a fascist. I don't think that Trump's followers are fascists. I don't think that any of the stuff I don't think that Trump was really that egregious until maybe the election. The election stuff, like, you know what, the 2020 election, that seemed to be kind of fucking crazy. Before that, I don't think Trump was like
how you handle COVID.
Here's the thing. Actually, at this point, I don't blame him for COVID. Dev didn't look. Well, then post it to me right now. Go ahead, Mike Hiller, post it. Go. I'm listening. If I didn't look, and you can show it to me, post it. Go, post it.
Wait,
Devs
so why
going.
don't you blame why
Just
don't
wait.
you blame him on the COVID thing?
Because most of that came from the States, not the feds. The feds have limited involvement. In fact, that was the point, is that people were shrieking that Trump wasn't doing enough back in 2020. It's like Trump can't. It's the state governments that did everything, both good and bad. Trump could not do much, and he did not do much. He used warp speed to like jumpstart research into vaccines and provide funding, and that's pretty much it.
He did good on that, but
Yeah.
he also said some stupid shit though to his
Well, sure, but
followers.
saying stupid stuff is not the same
Which-
thing as implementing policy, though. You know, Mike Hiller DM me. Where's the DM? I don't see it.
Yes, but when you're the president, your word carries a lot of weight, especially for a large source of the country.
Super
So
conservative or
his
libertarian?
words would have influenced people.
I think Trump is just vaguely like populist right. I don't think he really follows a set ideology, which, by the way, does not make him fascism. It does not make him a fascist. This is one thing that you and I disagreed on in our various conversations too, is that I believe that there is a set definition for fascism.
Yes, well, whereas I believe there's also like the typical social, the self-identified fascists.
The self-identified
as well as,
fascists.
like, as well as like, well, you seem to think fascism is strictly the definition within the like the Mussolinian fascism or the Hitler fascism.
So
Whereas
here's
it
the
doesn't have to
TLDR.
be as strict as that.
Well, okay, if that's the case, then are people who want like the Nordic model socialists? Or are we following a very strict Marxist definition of socialism, and those are something else, like social democrats? You know, like we can play the word game, but if you have a very strict definition for one camp, but a very loose definition for the other, that seems like it's politically motivated. You know what I mean?
Yes, but it's not always politically motivated. Like sometimes definitions could just be loose. Like
I don't agree.
something like fascism.
I don't agree
You
with
don't
that at all.
have to be the trains run on time, and like you don't have to believe in like the Mussolini's fascist Superman to.
Actually, that was Hitler's. I don't think Mussolini had that. But I guess my point is
he
like,
had his own version of it. He had his own version of it.
so
Hitler
here's
had the
what I mean.
Aryan, whereas
Here.
whereas
I-
Mussolini had different one, but similar.
So I have an idea. I have an idea here. So, and I'm going to use the most obvious example because he makes it so fucking stupid and easy. You have Vosh, right? And Vosh is willing to say for fucking everything that he doesn't like is that's not real socialism. He has a very narrow, very strict idea of what real socialism is. Everything else is just something else. It's just not real socialism. All right? However, when it comes to fascist, Dankula's a fascist. I am a fascist. Libertarians are fascists. And clearly that's not the case, right? So there's, it was one of Robert Conquest's laws of politics. And one of the laws was people are conservative about what they know best. So if you know what socialism is, then you don't need to have a very loose, very broad definition. It's like, oh, it's this. I know what it is. These things, no, it's this. However, if you don't know what something is, then your definition is very broad and vague and foggy, and you can include many people in it. So I think some of that comes from political expediency on Vosh's part. He just wants Dankula to be a fascist, for example, because it makes it's good for his view. Some of it's going to be ignorance. I don't think he's ever read anything on this topic, frankly. But also some of it is just going to be affinity. You know, you have for something that you know very well, you're gonna be more conservative on it because that's just how it works. You know, you don't need to be experimental. You already know what the thing is. You don't need to go searching. You already have pinpointed the accuracy. You know what I mean? So, you know, to use another example.
Did you say Richard Spencer is a fascist?
Richard
even
Spencer?
If he doesn't follow, yeah, even if he doesn't follow like the classical definition of a fascist. in
No,
our ideologies.
I wouldn't actually, because Richard Spencer.
What?
I mean, hold on, he's a white supremacist.
Really?
Just wait. He's a white supremacist, but not a fascist. Those are two different things. So, here's what I mean, Lilith. Were the Japanese fascists because they weren't white supremacists? They were Asian. They were Asian supremacists. So even
I'd still say Imperial Japanese was pretty fascist.
well, sure, but why? Like
Well, then,
what does Imperial Japanese have in common with Richard Spencer? Like, what quality do
Well,
they have?
the strong man. We're gonna restore tradition. The the ideologueness of it all.
Well, yeah, but that could be socialism as well. I mean, look at every single socialist movement. Even look at the populist socialist ones, like with Bernie. Bernie wasn't a strong man, but they fucking idolized him like he was. Like the Bernie or Busters crowd, they were fucking. Some of those people were fucking insane.
I think it would be a stretch to label that fascism, though, because
I agree.
fascism usually has like a far right association and connotation.
That is a stretch. That is a stretch, but not
Like,
because of the.
Leftists can be bad too, that without being fascists, like
But
authoritarian.
this is the thing, though, is that fascism exists outside
And
the
rightists
left.
can be like right people on the right can be bad without being fascist too, but I think like
here,
some people definitely
So
fall more into it than others.
this is what I mean, though. Fascism falls outside of the left-right dichotomy. The extreme far left that's bad, those are the communists. The extreme far right that's bad, those are the monarchists. Fascism doesn't fit into this spectrum. I mean, that's why, the first book
They
that
don't
I read.
have to be monarchists, though. They
That's like
they
saying they don't
could
have to
be
be communists.
fascist too.
Well, no. That's like saying they don't have to be communists to be far left. That's not true, right? This is what I mean. Fascism does not belong on the traditional left-right spectrum. The first, when I first started covering, when I first started educating myself on this, the first book that I read was literally called Neither Right Nor Left, and the historian, he was a Polish Jewish historian writing about fascism. He made the point that fascism is neither on the left or the right. It's principally opposed. It's like anti-liberalism, and liberalism is generally the center. It's like negative center, if that makes sense. It doesn't really exist on the proper spectrum.
Yes, it defines itself by what it's opposed to most of the time.
A lot of the time, yes,
Like
yes.
for Hitler, it was like a Jewish influence, and for shoot, I was just thinking of different examples, but I'm not.
Mhm.
My
So,
mind is just
well,
drawing blank.
there's like three types of fascism. The classical the only classical fascists were the Italians, the Spanish, and the Portuguese. That was it. They were the only ones that that really ideologically followed Mussolini's vision of what fascism is. The Germans followed it for practical purposes, not because they were ideologically devoted to the idea. And so then you have the neo-fascists, and those are like the Germans and the Japanese. And then you have the post-fascists. And post-fascists, the post-fascists are people who are like, here, if you wanted to call like a Christian nationalist, like a Nick Fuentes, a fascist, he would be a post-fascist. He wouldn't be a classical or a neo-fascist. Moldbug.
He would be like the modern day definition of
Moldbug,
or
for
our
example.
modern day understanding.
The neo-reactionary guys, Moldbug, the stuff that Scrump fell into, those are as close to post-fascism as anyone who's currently modern and politically relevant is going to get. But they're nothing like Mussolini, and they're even nothing like the Nazis or the Japanese. So
Yes, but they're still fascists. But
here's the thing.
Kind,
I mean, but here's the thing. Most people want to say that because they understand that the word fascist has like an emotional punch to it. It's like, I can call you a fascist, and it's like, well, That just it has an emotional punch. That's why people want to use it. It's like using the word racist 5 years ago. You notice that most people don't call, like, just basically call people racist anymore, because the word got so overused it lost the emotional punch. So
Well, I don't basically use it. I usually
I'm not saying you do. I'm saying you do.
apply it to people who are like who fit the definition. Like, they don't have to click like all the boxes to be a fascist. If they click like 9 out of 10, then that's probably more than enough.
Well, this is kind of what I mean, though. Is that, like, I'm not saying that you are saying this, but for example, Vosh calling Dankula a fascist. That was egregious, but that's the ultimate end result of,
Yeah, I don't
you
think
know.
Dankula's a fascist.
But if you say, like, well, fascists lie, and the only real coherent component of their ideology is they lie and they seek power. They have no ideology. They're inherently incoherent. They're inherently contradictory. Anyone can be a fascist under that definition. You and I could be them. Why not? If you can't point at what makes a fascist, it just is. Then why couldn't we be fascists, right? So that's the problem with that point of view, fundamentally, is that it basically just gives people who are extremely, let's say, dishonest. It gives them space to just call their enemies fascists. And I don't like that. I think that's bad.
Fair enough. I think there should be like some definition tied to it, like a belief of like racial superiority, or using political force to enforce like regressive and autocratic policies.
Yeah, but, like, you could see a lot of socialist governments that do that too. This is, by the way, why I think that fascism is
That
just
when
like.
they do it too. It's
No,
that when they do
of course,
that
of course.
too.
But what I'm saying, though, is that, like, a socialist revolution is the best way to get a fascist government, which is why the socialists are fucking retarded. They create the problem that they claim to fight against. It's so dumb. But I guess what I'm saying, though, is, like,
Happened in Germany.
if you had to find something that distinguished socialists from fascists, for me, I think it would be the nationalism versus internationalism thing. That people say that, like,
that would probably like the biggest thing.
yeah. So, for example, there's a lot of fascists who they love the left's economic policies. They want the redistribution. They want the state control over the economy. They want the command economy. They want all that shit. But they're still nationalists.
But usually for white people, or only for people of my country, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So
that's the difference.
For example, for in Germany it was Aryans, and in Japan it was the Japanese. However, in Italy they didn't have the same conception of race. They had, like, dark-skinned Italians in the south. They had light-skinned Italians in the north. They had Jewish Italians that were part of the fascist party. So for Italy, it was much more based on being a member of the Italian state. It wasn't based on race in that same way.
Yes.
So if you were,
why fascism can exist without the racial component.
Yes, exactly. And the idea basically is, if a state implements socialism or attempts to implement socialism, you're always going to get a fascist state. And that's like the libertarian critique of fascism, or of socialism, is that it always becomes fascism, and that it's unavoidable. And the more that I've read, especially the more that I've read about the classical fascists, the more that you can see that's exactly how they viewed it. If you go back to Mussolini and the guys that he was hanging around with, they all said outright, yeah, fascism is socialism's final form. This is the socialism of the state. And it's like, well, okay then. That knowledge has kind of been lost at this point, I think. No one talks about fascism in that way anymore. But it seems to be the case. Jesus, that was kind of a rant, eh?
Yeah.
I'm going to turn this into a video at some point, though, because I've read enough books, I've read enough things, and also this is why, like, this is the main reason that I don't trust the fascism is incoherent argument, because the fascists themselves said this, and it seems to be true. At least the original fascists did. So they Like they weren't incoherent. The original fascists. They told you what they wanted, and it seems to be correct.
But different fascists wanted different versions of fascism, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, same with socialists though, and same with liberals and everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, but that there's still like a Stalinist is and Maoist. They're both communists, and I
Yes.
think like a modern day fascists, even and a Mussolini fascists or Hitler fascists or Imperial Japanese fascists, they're all fascists, but different kind. They
A lot of people use
I don't
fascism
think
as a
like
byword for all repressive authoritarianism. Communists use fascism to describe non-fascist because it's the only ideology conceivably more repugnant than communism.
yes, there's a difference in I don't describe fascism the way communists describe it.
We're like
Which-
liberals are fascists. It's like so stupid. Yeah. Okay. What is fascism? When the Nazis called themselves National Socialists, they were actually correct. It is rather so like the communists. They are international socialists. You know, if you talk to like the libertarian left right now, you talk to like the libertarian socialists. They want socialism everywhere. They are the socialists. They are the universalized socialism. Fascism is a particular socialism. It is a socialism for one nation, or for one group, for one. Yeah, it is a national socialism, and that was true. That was true. Which is why I think that fascism is just socialism's endpoint, because you're never going to have a world state. Sorry, Klaus Schwab, it's not going to happen. But yeah, I've basically since the Scrump situation, I've read a lot about this stuff, and I've looked into a lot about this stuff.
So the definition on dictionary.com would be
Of fascist?
a governmental system. I know it's just easier to just have the
Yep.
dictionary definition out. A governmental system led by a dictator having complete power, forcibly suppressing opposition and criticism, regimenting all industry, commerce, etc., and emphasizing an aggressive nationalism and often racism. So
Mhm.
communism has basically all of that aside from the last two.
Aside from the nationalism and racism.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think there's definitely some racist components to communism as well.
It
But
can be.
yeah.
They can be
Yeah.
racist.
but
But
yeah.
they don't make it their focus.
Well, keep in mind that fascism is more about the state than the race. It said often racism, but doesn't have to be racist. You could have a multicultural fascism. You know, you could have a fascism where all races are accepted, but you still have the authoritarian government. You still have the control of the economy.
Rainbow fascism.
Yeah, you can have rainbow fascism. Can be, yes, absolutely. It absolutely can be real. You know, there has to be a buy-in into the moral supremacy of the state. That's more important than racism. You don't need racism to be a fascist.
Yes. But it's often an associated component.
The word socialism was included in the name National Socialist to attract the working class, but Hitler hated the socialists. Sorry, Dev. That's actually incorrect. Hitler hated the International Socialists, but his party absolutely was full of socialists. That's the whole. That was the whole point
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
He killed the International Socialists, the brown shirts.
Yeah. So they had you had the beefsteak Nazis. The beefsteak Nazis were members. They were members of the communist and socialist parties who believed that National Socialism was a better path forward for the socialist movement than engaging in the Russian Communist International project. And so a lot of socialists were attracted to the Nazi Party. And then the socialists that were purged, they were all Strasserites, and the Strasserites were just another form of fascist. So like, this is the thing. Like, here's the most important part: none of this stuff is liberal, and therefore none of this stuff is me. I'm a liberal. I'm not a socialist or a fascist. I don't want any like. I personally view the feud between socialism and fascism is not like two extreme ends of the political spectrum. No, these are feuding brothers, in my opinion, and I want nothing to do with it. I oppose them both.
And as a libertarian, my perspective is like both of these people want to implement authoritarianism in different ways. Of course, it's like somebody who wants to implement, say, the Nordic model is quite different from somebody who wants to establish like a racial supremacist ethno-state.
Well, is the Nordic
But,
model socialist though?
It's
I mean, it's still capitalism, just capitalism
it's
with
still
safety nets.
capitalism with safety nets, but like it's got some socialistic elements to it.
Oh God, so maybe William Schreier is wrong. Okay, well, like, do you want me to start like pulling my fucking books down and telling you what's
It's still
going
a
on?
high-tech system to produce like social programs, which I don't have a problem with, but like.
But that's not socialism, though, by the strictest definition. Just like Trump isn't a fascist by the strictest definition either. It depends.
Yeah, if you want to go by the socialism is when you distribute property, then yes.
Does conservatism have any relation to fascists? So historically, conservatives generally only support fascists if the conservatives have been like completely and utterly destroyed in every other possible way. They view it as like a last-ditch effort because the fascists are ultimately revolutionary and the conservatives are anti-revolutionary in the end. You know, conservatives frame all of their behaviors as conserving society, but fascists, they don't care about that. You know, Mussolini didn't care about the Catholic Church, even though it was very important in Italian society. Hitler didn't restore the old German monarchy. There's a lot of things that fascists and conservatives clash on very strongly.
They want to create their own version of a past that was basically never was.
That's true, but they're also pursuing an alternate future, which is something that socialists don't really get.
It's an alternative future that they sometimes package as the tradition.
Here, let me just look up this phrase here. I did a video in the past few months on a phrase called reactionary modernism. Reactionary modernism was coined in the 1980s to describe the mixture of the great enthusiasm for modern technology with the rejection of the Enlightenment and the values and institutions of liberal democracy, which was characteristic of Nazism. This ideologically, so basically, the idea is that the fascists, they were searching. See, socialists had this vision that that they are the inevitable future, that there is that it's almost like it's prophetic, that everything will eventually trend towards and become the socialist utopia. The fascists rejected that and
that's often been a theme in Marxism. Like, socialism is the next step, and then the next step is communism.
Yes. So the fascists said, no,
like,
we want an idea of futurism that is non-socialist. We want a fascist futurism. So they also strive towards progress. It was just a very different idea of progress. And I think last time we talked about this, I mentioned the book Fascist Interactions, where the author of that book said that fascism was a quest for an alternative modernity, which I think is correct. They wanted to break the march of progress towards like an inevitably more leftist position and move it in a different direction. But yes, someone mentioned The Rise and the Fall of the Third Reich. That's a fine book, but I mean, I also just read through Hitler's Beneficiaries, which is a very in-depth description of all the Nazis' economic policies, and economically they were very left-wing. Shit, what were we talking about before? Okay, that's right. There's one thing I wanted to find out. Fuck. You know what? I can't find it.
Thought?
No, someone asked, how do conservatives feel about fascists? And there's a passage in some of the writing where Mussolini rejects conservatism outright and says that fascism cannot be conservative. And then there was basically something that I had found. I can't find it now. There was something that I had found that described basically how in a society where socialists had completely destroyed the conservatives, the few remaining conservatives generally side with the fascists. However, in a society that still had a strong conservative party, the conservative party basically rejected the fascists, and the fascists did not did not find any purchase among the right, which is why I think that the fascists are neither left nor right. And I guess if you wanted to map that on, if you wanted to call Trump a fascist, if for some reason you wanted to do that, you could say that the old conservatives in the United States have been so thoroughly beaten that there's no one else for the right to side with. You could make that argument. That seems to be an argument in favor of Trump being a fascist. But because it's true, the left has been winning so many fucking victories that the right has nowhere else to go. You could say that. I'm not sure if that really tracks with reality, but it's possible. Anyway, Jesus Christ. That's too much ranting, eh?
It's okay. We go on tangents.
What do you want to say anything about it, or before I get to the super chats?
No, I don't have a lot to add. Well, pretty much already said.
Do it, Lilith. Prove that you're a libcuck.
I don't have anything to prove. I don't know what make you're expecting from me.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Let's see
I'm
here.
just genuinely confused. What you mean? Like, what sort of take was I supposed to have there?
Let's see here. Reed Laverty for $5. Italy wanted to remake Rome, which covers a lot of cultures, so they needed to be open to people being brought into the empire. Yeah, exactly. Like Rome was a very multi-ethnic empire in a sense. Twisted Frenzy for €10. Thank you. Fascism, as I understand it, everything within the state, nothing outside the state, nothing against the state. In the eyes of the fascists, the state is God. That's true. What's funny, though, is that like a lot of the post-fascists could also be described paradoxically as libertarian fascists, in that they don't want to establish the all-encompassing state like the earlier fascists did. But nonetheless, they still hold a lot of the same values. So it's become a bit of a strange new turn in the development of political theory. Like the idea of libertarian fascism is kind of crazy, but it makes sense.
Fascism on a smaller scale. Bite-sized fascism.
Bite-sized fascism, yeah. Ickbard for $5. Imagine if Pee Wee Herman was arrested for saying "this booty is fire" instead of whacking it in a theater. I don't know what that's related to, but all right. Reed Laverty for $5. I would contend that Portugal was more like the Kingdom of Hungary, with extreme conservatism, not fascism. Depends on how much of a role religion played in it, because generally extremely spiritual societies, they're more neo-fascist, and meanwhile extremely atheistic societies are more classical fascist. Because the classical fascists, they were still materialists in the same way that like Marxists were, and they rejected the idea of religion. Mike Hiller for $7. Thank you. Dev, are you going to talk about?
Will you agree with like the neo-fascist definition? It's just like we're not actually that disagreeing. It's just like there's a difference between like the old classical view and like the new one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The best you could do is you could say that like the current set of reactionaries, like Nick Fuentes, if you wanted to call them fascists, they'd be post-fascists, because there were
neo-fascists.
Well, no. Here's the thing, because the neo-fascists, they wanted a strong theocratic state, but they still wanted everything to be run by the state. The church was subordinate to the state. However, the post-fascists, they're actually fine with a small state, which is kind of paradoxical. And what they often want instead is the state itself to be extremely weak. So they're very different from Mussolini. Mussolini wanted the strong state, and then Hitler wanted the strong state. But Hitler also had like a more spiritual component with like the occultism, and the Japanese had a more spiritual
weak
component.
state, but still a state that tells people what to do in the way they like it.
Yes. And well, they would base their ideas more on how the Holy Roman Empire functioned, and the Holy Roman Empire had actually a weak state, and yet it was still the authority because their system was very decentralized. and they like the church actually took over functions of the state, and as long as the church did those functions the way that the state wanted, that the state was happy to give up that power. It's you want me to go into like hyper specific detail? We can spend like, the next 3 hours on it if you like.
Sure, we got time.
I don't
Keep
have
the
time
super
today.
chat coming, guys.
I don't have time today. I don't have time. Let's see here. Dev, are you going to talk about how the FBI team that raised him is the same one that faked evidence in the Russia investigation? I've heard that. I have not found evidence of that, but I've heard that. It's possible, but I don't know anything about it. I've looked for it. I couldn't find it, but I understand that is at least a view that some people have. Couldn't find evidence for it though. Meta for $10. Thank you. I don't know if it actually matters if it's a witch hunt or not. The door is now open for every future administration to litigate endlessly and weaponize agencies against their political opponents. That's true. This could be a shit show where like the next president just fucks Biden over just because he can now because the door's been opened. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That could be a problem.
I can see that happening.
XMNO for $5. Thank you. I've been waiting to hear this conversation for a long time. So far, it's a great breakdown. Factual and historical. Thank you. 50 euros from Mr. Thank you for the 50 euros, dude. From Twisted Frenzy. Here's 50 quid. Please do a full video on this topic. Yeah. Actually, I can't reveal this. I have something that is secret that I can't talk about right now, but it's related to this, and the video will come. Okay? Let's see here. Via Red for $20. Thank you. Executive privilege allows the president to declassify things by simply talking about it to someone without clearance. The way that the president can talk to other heads of state without walking on legal eggshells. That's kind of true, but not fully true. To declassify documents, there's still a process, and there are certain things the president can't do that too. We covered that earlier. Myers for $5. I voted for the candidate that I thought was the most incompetent at passing bad legislation. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. If the hot tub were a stew with you two in it, what veggies would you go best with? What do you think?
Wait, repeat that?
If the hot tub were a stew, what veggies would we go best with?
What veggies? Carrot. Carrot goes
Carrot?
well with every
Bok choy.
soup.
Bok choy and onion. Yeah. Have you thought about talking to Destiny? Destiny and I agree a fair amount. He doesn't like talking to people who agree with him, you know? I mean, I'm actually friends. It's kind of strange. I'm friends with a lot of Destiny's friends at this point. Like, I'm friends with Taftage. I'm friends with Not So Erudite. But, like, I feel like Destiny and I, we would agree too much. And that's kind of a boring conversation. He doesn't like talking to people unless there's like a fight in it, you know? I do like him, though. I do think his takes are generally okay. Let's see. Rolando for $20. Thank you. Crowder never said to fight physical. He mentioned how people would lose faith in democracy because it does fail people a lot. When he says fight, he means to vote, to fight back with people you elect. Okay. Fair enough. That is what people would say when you get called on that, yeah. Here's the thing, though. I mean, as a libertarian, Lilith, you should be kind of against democracy, right?
Kind of. I'm more like a constitutional republic person. Like, I don't think, like, we should be able to vote to say, let's say, oh, we don't like, Bob Joe, and,
Vote him out of the country.
Yeah. I don't think we should have like 90%. If 90% of the country say fuck Bob Joe, we're gonna take away all his rights and we're gonna vote for it.
Yeah.
I don't think that should be a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, voting does not legitimize every action. There are some things that are still tyrannical even if voted on. Yeah.
I'm also against like direct democracy with like
Yeah, same
because
same
that's
here,
just
same here.
stupid.
Destiny's actually not a crazy lefty. He's like, he went on the lefty arc talking to all the socialists, and now they all fucking hate each other because he basically blew them out every single time they spoke. Destiny's like a capitalist who just wants healthcare. Completely reasonable in my opinion. Investigator Wormquin for $50. Thank you very much for the 50, dude. Hey, Dev, I was wondering if you ever watched that video, Gender, What a Tangled Web We Weave. I recommend it to you by a YouTuber named Kava. You'd also see if you can bring Kava on the TubCast. I don't know what the video is, but I can look into it. I'll pull it up and watch it later. Oh, this has like no... This guy has like 600 subs and no viewers. I wonder if it's like one of those hidden gems of YouTube. I'll watch it later, though, but thank you. Tricky Mario for $8. Thank you very much. Sophia Narwitz did a video on the GTA 5 controversy. Despite the stupid censorship, a lot of the trans jokes are still present in the game. Oh, okay. All right. I think that's all of them. I think that's all. I'll refresh once more. But I think that's all the supers. Yes, it is. So there we go.
All right.
That was a great show. Lilith has revealed her cucked leftist allegiance on this show yet again.
I know it's horrible. I didn't went down to Mar-a-Lago and suck off the orange man.
Yeah. Honestly, my opinion on it is
That's my only way to repent.
Is to suck off the orange man, get some Cheeto dust.
Get some Cheeto dust around my lips.
I did get the 51, yeah, I did. But yeah, I do think that probably the whole Mar-a-Lago thing, Trump's probably fucked. I think it'll come out that Trump's kind of fucked here. But here's the thing. I don't think he's like a malicious, malignant force on America. He's not a fascist. He's not a fucking tumor. He's not any of that. I think what it is that he was just dumb and he didn't know what he was doing. And when he moved out his box of stuff, it had some stuff in it that he accidentally threw in there. Or someone threw in there, some staffer. And now he's... I think this is just him blundering basically into a hole. And it's not good. It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I concur.
R.I.P. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. We're going to get out of here.
All right.
Wait, one more super. Thanks right at the end, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the super.
Yep. Source, trust. Dude, we went over the source. You're coping. Stop coping. All right? If there's a subpoena, and if... Jesus Christ. So there's a subpoena, and Trump ignores it. And then they go, well, fuck, dude, you fucking ignore the subpoena. And then they go to the judge, and the judge is like, yeah, you ignored the subpoena. Okay, you can now investigate his house. And then the judge stamps the thing and says, yes, you can do this. This sounds reasonable. All right? Fuck. Dude. You know...
More clear than that.
You don't have to be pro-Trump on everything. Sometimes Trump's just a fuck-up. It's okay. It's okay. Your source is the Feds. Sometimes the Feds are right. It's just as simple as that. Sometimes they are. Not all the time, but sometimes they are. Okay?
They could be wrong. They might be wrong here, but
it
doesn't seem like it is.
Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it.
Doesn't seem like weapons of mass destruction here.
Have you watched Morbius? Yes. Let's continue the stream action. I'm going to give you like a really big, long thing of Morbius, okay? I'm going to tell you all about Morbius right now.
Ooh. I have never seen Morbius.
Here's
is it as bad as they claim?